Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. Liverpool 4, Barnsley 1. Liverpool are safe and sound through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. But despite the seemingly big scoreline, that only tells half the story. In my personal opinion, the scoreline somewhat flatters Liverpool to a certain extent. Barnsley can be very proud of their performance last night. They did give Liverpool a lot of food for thought, and obviously a lot of they gave them a real run for their money. Did the League One side? I felt they were really good on the night. I felt like they did themselves and their fans proud, but they just lacked that bit of endurance, that bit of quality, and of course that squad depth in the final 15 minutes to really test Liverpool's mettle towards the end of that game. And in the end, it was Liverpool's strength and depth that really killed the game off. But it was no shortage of quality goals last night. I mean, at least 3 of the 4 goals I felt were real quality from Liverpool. Brilliantly well taken. Liverpool on the night were not amazing in terms of performance once again, but in terms of clinicalness and quality goals, Liverpool got an A star on the night from me personally in those aspects. But yeah, once again, it wasn't exactly the best of performances. We're going to be looking into that a little later in this stream. We're also going to be looking at what David Ornstein has said this morning in regards to Liverpool's transfer policy going forward in this window and the next, looking at where they are looking to target in terms of recruitment for the next couple of transfer windows, and obviously a couple of people to look out for over the next couple of years in that aspect. So we are going to be looking at what Ornstein has said this morning. And of course, anything that you guys want to talk about as well. Big up to each and every single one of you that's in the building so far on this Wednesday. Not Wednesday, it's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. Tuesday morning. I'm losing track of my days there. Big up to everybody that's here on this Tuesday morning. I hope we're all doing very well. Obviously, as always with these videos and live streams, hit the like button if you haven't already and subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, hit up the chat, whether it's about Liverpool last night, whether it's about anything that you guys want to talk about in the world of football. Maybe you want to talk a bit more about Xabi Alonso, maybe you want to talk about a bit more about Madrid or anything along those lines. Of course, these videos and live streams are as much your videos and live streams as they are mine. Obviously, I have topics I want to discuss, and obviously there is a main bulk to these videos and streams and stuff. Like I say, we are going to be mainly talking Liverpool, but obviously let me know where you guys are watching from today. Let me know what you guys are up to today, and of course let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling all about the football, because that is mainly what we are here for. Big up to Alex, who's already in the building. Long time no see, brother. Not long time no see. He simply says, "What a game!" And yeah, for good and bad, it was definitely eventful. Like I say, I'm not too sold on the performance, but in terms of the goals and things, like outstanding goals, well taken goals. The amazing performance, but the goals was amazing. Big up Dean, who's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Yeah, like I said, guys, hit the like and subscribe, and also get involved in the chat. As always, big up to each and every single one of you. So, last night, third round, Monday night, Liverpool went into a game at Anfield against League One Barnsley with the pressure of obviously an FA Cup giant killing on their shoulders. And they came out with it in flying colours. Liverpool won by 4-1. But that doesn't exactly tell half the story, in my opinion. I felt in the first half, the opening 15 minutes were, as you probably expect, Barnsley running off adrenaline with a better team, and they could have actually taken the lead within inside the opening 30 seconds. Barnsley hit the post so early, giving Liverpool a very early scare. And they also went close once or twice after that as well. Liverpool really did not start very well. Joe Gomez in particular was looking a little suspect at the back for Liverpool. But once things calmed down a little bit, once the adrenaline subsided, Liverpool got back into the game a little bit, but they still looked a little dangerous, Barnsley, especially on the counter-attack. And in the end, it took a incredible long-range effort from Dominic Szoboszlai to get the ball rolling for Liverpool. An incredible finish from outside the box, picks the ball up from Alexis McAllister, gets it out of his feet, and arrows it right into the top corner. Absolutely amazing from Dominic Szoboszlai. It's something that I really wish he would do a little bit more often, because I know how much of a rocket he's got of a right foot. So I really wish that he would do that more often. But of course, yeah, it's definitely something that I wish he would do more often. Liverpool double their lead afterwards through Jeremie Frimpong. Great work from Frimpong down the right-hand side. Cuts inside. And smashes it into the back of the net. 2-0 Liverpool. Then, seemingly in cruise control, Liverpool shoot themselves in the foot, or at least Szoboszlai does. Attempts a stupid back heel whilst in his own penalty area. And the Barnsley attacker picks up the ball simply and puts it into the back of the net to half the deficit. Why he's attempting to do such a showboat piece in his own penalty area, why he's taking that big risk, I don't know. Was it just a completely stupid moment from Szoboszlai, or was that just a moment of arrogance? I'm not 100% sure. I would have hooked it. I would have hooked him off at that point. I really, really would have done. It showed to me a bit of arrogance from him. Maybe it was just a stupid moment and he just tried something and it didn't come off. And it kind of shows you how much confidence he was playing with at that time. But at the same time, in saying that, I would call it arrogance. I would have hooked him off at half time. It was really stupid from Szoboszlai. And obviously it could have cost Liverpool, because in the second half, again, it wasn't exactly convincing until we got to the final 15 minutes. And the only reason why in those final 15 minutes Liverpool did look convincing was simply for the reason that Liverpool's strength and depth shine through. It wasn't like we threw it away like we did in the Carabao Cup. We actually had a strong subs bench. That obviously helped to see out the rest of the game in those 15 minutes. The likes of Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike especially came on. They linked up for the third goal. A lovely little flick from Ekitike, setting up Wirtz, who finishes amazingly, by the way. And Wirtz could have had two. Wirtz could have had 2 goals on the night. Again, a bit of arrogance and a bit of nonchalantness from Florian Wirtz stopped him from getting a goal earlier in the game when Szoboszlai pretty much put it on a plate for the German international. He could have got 2. He ended up getting only 1. And then for the 4th goal, really, really, really did put a cherry on top of the cake kind of thing. Wirtz puts the ball across the face of goal for Hugo Ekitike to finish off, and Liverpool win by 4-1. Big old Rodrigo's in the building. Lovely to have you here. Slot out, Alonso in. Come on, FSG, make it happen. I would probably agree with you. Opportunities like this to improve and make Liverpool Football Club better, in spite of obviously a recent run of form, which is seen as unbeaten, which is the most underwhelming run of form that I've seen Liverpool on in recent in ages, I would say. Opportunities like this don't come along too often, and I think Alonso is a perfect fit for Liverpool Football Club, and I don't think you can pass up on these opportunities, because the danger is that, you know, with Man United looking for a new manager, and as much as I would like to banter Tottenham and say that they have probably no chance of getting Alonso, let's face it, I didn't think they'd get Mourinho or Conte, and yet those things happened. It's one of those things where I think an opportunity is too good to pass up. It's too good to pass up these opportunities. So yeah, I agree with you. I would definitely look at getting Alonso in ASAP. What a link up play between Wirtz and Ekitike. Yeah, absolutely. Them two, when they came on, linked up really well. I think we're starting to see those two in particular really start to come in. And I know people will say, well, it's only Barnsley. You've got to beat what's in front of you first and foremost. But not only that, if you've been watching the past several games of Liverpool, you'll know that Wirtz and Ekitike, the partnership between those two, has really started to improve and blossom over the past few games. So I'm happy that the link up play between those two, especially, is really really starting to gel. I'm really happy for those two. Big up USA Facts, who's in the building. Hope you're doing well, my friend. It says, hey bro, please say my name. Well, there you go, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us on this Tuesday morning. I said Wednesday earlier, didn't I? I'm losing track of my days. I'm getting old. Oh dear. Bro, can see electrons in those glasses. Big up to you, Western Adventures. Yeah, I do apologize. I don't normally wear my glasses when I'm on stream, but I'm giving my contact lenses a rest for a few days. So yeah, I do apologize if there's a bit of like glare or whatever from them. It's there's not that much natural light in here, so I'm having to use the light, and obviously there's light from elsewhere as well. So I do apologize if it's annoying, but I hope it's manageable. So yes, those were the events of the game last night. Like I say, 4 very well taken goals from Liverpool. I have no idea. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Like I say, I've just seen it now, and I'm like, yeah, that it can be quite distracting. I hope it's not that distracting, but yeah, I appreciate it, my bro. Like I say, 4 very well taken goals from Liverpool last night. 4 very well taken goals. I've got nothing against the goals at all. Like, the goals were absolutely brilliant. But the performance was. The performance wasn't that strong. I mean, we went from being defensively solid against Arsenal, of all teams, Arsenal, to looking very shaky against Barnsley. And I know that obviously we had to play a bit more adventurous against Barnsley than we did against Arsenal. But we still had Van Dijk back there. We still had Frimpong, Gomez, Robertson. We still had a very experienced backline that should have been able to deal with the majority, not all, but the majority of what Barnsley had to show for us. I mean, their left winger, whose name now escapes me, was absolutely amazing all night. He really was an absolute thorn in our side throughout the entirety of the game. He was really good, and it was just a bit annoying that it wasn't exactly perfect from Liverpool's perspective. And like I said, I think 4-1 really did flatter us. I really did think 4-1 flattered us immensely. I know the be all and end all in cup competitions is to basically qualify regardless of how well you play. So I guess on that front, Liverpool achieved what they set out to do. But when you consider that we have been on an unbeaten run, which has been super underwhelming, super unimpressive, and very much, uninspiring in terms of the performance level of the team, I was expecting a bit more, I was expecting a bit more control. I was expecting a bit more of like a flourish, a bit like Man City taking on Exeter at the weekend. I was expecting us to have a bit more about us. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much. I don't know. Maybe I am asking for a little bit too much. I should be happy maybe at 4-1. But I just wasn't exactly convinced by the score, by the performance. I just really was not convinced by the performance whatsoever. in terms of performance by the team, because I can't really say anybody was amazing on the night either. Like, Szoboszlai had a really good game until he made his stupid mistake. And again, did a bit of overconfidence creep in, did a bit of arrogance creep in, probably. And again, I probably would have took him off at halftime after making that stupid error, because that really could have cost us. Obviously, on another night, another game, that really could have cost us. I think Wirtz did the same thing with his overconfidence in terms of going with the ball with the outside of his right foot when Szoboszlai put it on a plate for him. Why is he not just swinging his left foot at it and just absolutely smashing the back of the net with it? I don't know. But there was just a bit of overconfidence that crept in last night that I didn't quite like. And I'm like, you guys have not been playing well for the majority of this season, barring 1 or 2 games here and there. Just go out there, get the job done, and like I say, go out there, get the job done, and do it in a professional manner. That's what I was after last night, and Liverpool didn't really do that to a massive extent. Like I say, if it wasn't for our squad depth and actually using our subs bench, maybe. Things could have been a bit different on the night, but no, full credit to Barnsley. They really did play out their skin, really did themselves and their fans proud last night, and full credit to the League One side. But in the end, Liverpool get the job done. Prediction against Brighton in the next round. Yes, 4th round draw was made last night. Liverpool drew Brighton in that. Look, it's always awkward when you draw a Premier League side because you don't necessarily know who's going to take it seriously in that. Obviously, Brighton took out Man United, so it would have been nice for Liverpool to have got Man United instead if United had done their job, because obviously I would have liked a bit of revenge for what they did to us earlier on in the season. It depends how much we're taking it seriously. Obviously, we saw against Crystal Palace that we didn't necessarily take it seriously. I think we should, because obviously our options for silverware are running out. So I would like us to take it seriously, and I would like to say that we beat Brighton again for the 2nd time this season. But of course, you can never really take it seriously. And under this Liverpool team, I don't know what's going to be happening in a few weeks' time when we take on Brighton. I don't know how we're going to be playing at that time. I don't know if injuries are going to dry up or not. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, I'm going to back the team and say that we win. But again, I'm not entirely confident with that particular game as of right now. Morning, Tony. How you doing? Well, my friend. Lovely to have you here with us. This is Morning Man. Remember, this is slot football, or what Liverpool fans call it, dead football. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? It's this thing of, we've been waiting all season for Liverpool's football to improve. We've been waiting all season for Liverpool to really take their football and their performances through the gears. And every now and again, the football has actually been really good to watch, or really controlling to watch, or just really, really stable to watch. But for more often than not, it's been dire. It's been horrible to watch. And last night, like I say, if it wasn't for our strength and depth, we could have had a bit of an issue on our hands last night. I'm glad we took it seriously, because I feel like we needed to. But at the same time, in saying that, again, it wasn't the most convincing of performances, and you are right. Like I say, we've been waiting all season for slots football to improve, and it just simply hasn't. It just simply has not. And if it hasn't shown any signs of getting better on a consistent, sustainable level by now, I don't think it necessarily will do that. I don't think it will. And that's why, as someone put in the chat earlier, for me, opportunities don't present themselves too often in football like they have right now with Xabi Alonso. And people will say, oh, well, he failed at Real Madrid. And it's like, yes, but Real Madrid's standards are extremely high. Extremely, extremely high. The margin for error at Real Madrid is very, very thin. He didn't really fail because if you look at his win percentage and what he managed to do in that short space of time, like a lot of teams would take that. It's just Madrid obviously have a way high standard that he just wasn't going to live up to because of the egos that are in that dressing room, and not only just the egos, but Xabi Alonso's style of play doesn't necessarily match up to what Real Madrid have at their disposal in their ranks and in their squad. So it was never really going to work out that great. If it did, it would have been incredible if obviously Alonso was going to adapt, but Alonso would have had to adapt more than what those players would have had to adapt to. And as you can see, it obviously didn't work out for either of them. They're better off apart. And Real Madrid's loss is definitely going to be someone else's gain, in my opinion. Whose that gain is, obviously, only time will tell. But for me, I feel like this is too good of an opportunity for Liverpool to pass up. And I do feel like Liverpool need to move very, very quickly if obviously they are to appoint Xabi Alonso. But do I have hope that this board are going to do the right thing? I don't know. I really don't know. We will have to perform better against Brighton. Can they? Because they do have quality to punish us. Yeah, Brighton have got a very good squad. They always seem to produce these youngsters that come out of nowhere and they buy cheap or they work through their academy cheap and obviously they sell on big. So they've got a very good, well-drilled squad that is right their way down to its core, playing a certain style of football. So we have to be ready for that. Obviously, earlier on in the season when we played them, they created opportunities, but they didn't have the quality up front to punish us. So we have to be wary of all that Brighton possess, 100%. Barnsley is 17th in the Football League One. We struggle to create chances and even concede some chances as well. Was that a pen from Szoboszlai? I mean, come on now. Yeah, I forgot about that actually. I don't think it was a pen. I think he just about gets enough of the ball. I know you can probably say like he has got a handful of his shirt. I think he does. I sometimes just think like not all contact in the penalty area is worthy of being a penalty. Not all contact is. It's not all contact on the football pitch elsewhere is not always a foul. So it shouldn't always be given just because it's in the box. In the same way that obviously for whatever reason, there shouldn't be a higher threshold of a foul because it's in the box. If it's a foul, it's a foul. But yeah, I think Szoboszlai just about gets enough of the ball. I know you can say he's got a handful of his shirt, but I kind of had to agree with what Joleon Lescott said. He doesn't exactly fall backwards; he more falls forward on the shirt pull, which kind of says to me that he was kind of looking for it a little bit, and I don't blame him for looking for it. But I do think Szoboszlai just about won enough of the ball. But yeah, on the whole creating chances thing, I have to somewhat agree with you. I don't really remember, apart from the Florian Wirtz chance, I don't really remember Liverpool creating too many opportunities outside of the goals. Maybe I'm wrong or maybe I'm misremembering it. But yeah, I mean, it says here that we actually created 21 shots in comparison to their 9. And we had 2 big chances in the game. that says to me, like, obviously long range efforts from Szoboszlai and, Frimpong, basically absolutely explosive down that right hand side, cutting in on his left. Yeah, it just sort of says to me, like, again, Liverpool struggled. Liverpool struggled throughout the majority of that game, and it wasn't until the game properly opened up in those last 15 minutes where Barnsley said, right, we have to throw a bit more caution to the wind now, that we didn't really start to take control of the game. It wasn't until that point. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us. It says, true that, bro. They have Joel Veltman. Yes, I mean, they do. And they've got a number of other good players as well. I hope that Salah wins AFCON so that he can get his confidence boost he gets when he gets back. I mean, I've had a theory that Salah's been saving his best performances for AFCON in the first half of the season. I had a bit of a theory several streams back that Salah was saving his best performances for AFCON. He's doing really, really well in AFCON. I think he's got 4 goals in 4 games, and obviously Egypt are through to the semi-finals right now. So, or is it the quarters? Are we on the quarters or the semis right now? I can't. It's been a couple of days. I really cannot remember. My memory is terrible. But yeah, I'm really hoping that he does win AFCON. Not only for him and for Egypt, but I'm also hoping that he can take that trophy and just deliver it to Jamie Carragher as like a middle finger, and just properly rub that in his face that he's finally won AFCON, which Carragher ignorantly claimed that Egypt haven't done in a long time, and Salah hasn't obviously been able to achieve that with Egypt. And obviously there are reasons behind why that has been the case for Egyptian football, and it's not exactly made for pleasant reading, but Carragher's ignorant comments certainly haven't helped. Same thing. I get it. Man. Alonso didn't fail at Real Madrid. Didn't fail at Real Madrid. Players have more power than the coach there. They didn't allow him to develop his play style, and Florentino, the owner, gives priority to the players rather than the coach. Well, this is what I was saying, mate. This is what I was saying. I was saying that he did. If you look at obviously his win percentage and what he did in his small time there, it wasn't necessarily failure for Xabi Alonso. Like, yes, okay, maybe you can say he failed in the Super Cup. Yeah, he lost the Super Cup. That happens for Madrid from time to time. But, it wasn't necessarily failure. It was just Xabi Alonso's style. He was very reluctant to adapt to the players that are already there. And, the players' egos and the players not willing to work in his style just sort of pushed him out the door, I would say. I would say that probably the players were like, well, I've worked hard to play for Real Madrid. You've got to make it work. We don't have to bend to your style. You have to bend to us, kind of thing. So I agree with you that it was going to be either... It had to be a situation in which for Xabi Alonso to work at Real Madrid, he would have had to have caved in to the demands of the Real Madrid players rather than it be the other way around. It's essentially why I've said for years, like, you can have the best squad. You can take all the best players from the world of football right now. You can put them all into a squad, but only certain managers will be able to not only handle them on a man management level, but they'd also be able to manage them in a team as a well-oiled machine. It's why when I see links to what would be now their potential new managers, I look at certain links and I go, he wouldn't be a good fit. So, when I see links to Jurgen Klopp, for example, now, in the aftermath of his sacking, I look at links to Jurgen Klopp again, and I go, Jurgen Klopp is an incredible, top-class manager, but he wouldn't work at Madrid. He would not work at Madrid because those players would not want to work in his style. His style is too industrious. His style is too heavy on the workload, especially in midfield, for that team to actually work. It wouldn't work, in my opinion. It really would not work that. But we shall see where they go. Big up Summer is in the building. Hope you're doing well. It says, Brother Noah. Not 100% sure what you mean by that, but I hope you're doing well, and I hope you are all good on this Tuesday morning. Dean says, I am slot out. I've always been slot out, but while Liverpool are winning games without the performance being that great, I'm just fearful that Liverpool won't move for a new manager. I would love Alonso. That's the fear. I mean, I know that the Liverpool board were completely sold on Alonso, and obviously when the whole Alonso thing was potentially happening, I know that obviously he eventually rejected us to stay at Bayer Leverkusen for one more year to hold out for Real Madrid. And I understand why he would do that. But we were completely sold on Alonso. I was kind of hoping, I know obviously there were seemingly rumours that regardless of Liverpool's performances and Liverpool's current position, that if Alonso did become available, Liverpool would strongly consider making a move for him. I hope that is the case. Like I say, as much as it might be ruthless, I can't watch this football anymore. I can't watch this football anymore. I can't watch these performances anymore. We've been waiting all season for these performances to improve. We've been waiting all season long for these performances to be considered somewhat sustainable in terms of seeing good football being played constantly and consistently, as well as obviously, there being an element of control. And barring a couple of sporadic performances here and there, there's been nothing to suggest that that's going to be the case going forward. There's been nothing to suggest that will be the case for Liverpool going forward in terms of good performances, in terms of strong performances, consistent performances, that kind of thing. There's been nothing. We've been playing poor throughout most of this season. And if we have got results, it hasn't been through any kind of patterns of play or anything like that. They have been through either horrendous mistakes by the opposition, or they have been through moments of brilliance from our team. And again, last night, I wouldn't say that Liverpool played amazingly well last night. I would say that we took our 4 goals through. I would say that we took our goals through as being clinical and us being, individually really good. Individually really good in terms of taking those chances and taking those goals. So again, it's so frustrating that we're still here. Like, I'm not saying every performance needs to be perfect. I understand that. even when we were on top of our game and we were winning trophies, like not every performance was top level, but at least have more good performances than mediocre to poor ones. You know what I mean? Like it's poor. And like you said, do I trust this board to make the right decision in terms of looking at these performances and going, all right, you've stopped the run of losses, great, but the performances haven't been there. If you actually look at this unbeaten run we're in, you drew to the likes of Sunderland and Leeds twice, home and away. I don't see this being sustainable. I really, really don't. And it's time we moved on. But like you said, I don't trust the board to make that kind of decision or make the right decision at the very least. So I agree with you. Even Real Madrid fans are wishing Alonso to take over at Liverpool and win everything. Most of them are disappointed with Alonso being sacked. It's a strange one, isn't it? Like, I don't know. It's so strange. Like, this is why Real Madrid sometimes, like, the standards that Madrid set, this is why, like, Standards FC and those kind of things are... It's so weird because... I don't even know. I don't even know how to word it. I don't want to word this. Real Madrid are the pinnacle of football, right? They all ran in a unique way to pretty much every other team there is, in terms of they need a manager, not a coach. They need someone to manage the egos, not the football, because the football should take care of itself. You should be able to go into that team. You should be able to play a multitude of ways, and it should just basically accommodate to the opposition that you are facing. That's why Ancelotti was so good for so long, because Ancelotti, I wouldn't say, I mean, obviously he had a style of play that suited him, but I would say Ancelotti was so good at adapting that as long as he got the results, he would get the results. And it didn't matter how he got them, he would get them by hook or by crook. Sometimes it would be more convincing than others. They would get what they wanted at the end of the day. And it was mainly about the manager adapting to the players than it would be about the players adapting to the manager. The board, they would buy the players and go, make it work. And this is why, again, I don't think just buying all the best players in the world necessarily works out to the best of its ability, because you will need occasionally a player who, or a couple of players that are not world class, but they will run through brick walls for you. They will give it 100% and they will play out of their skin to make themselves look world class. Liverpool have had it time and time again. Like, if you think about the best squads that Liverpool have had, not everybody in that Liverpool team was world class. Not everybody. Like, Alisson, world class, cool. Trent, when obviously he was playing for Liverpool, world class. Van Dijk, world class. Salah, world class. Mane, Firmino, world class. Wouldn't necessarily class Jordan Henderson as world class. Wouldn't necessarily say that the centre-back partnering Van Dijk was not exactly world class. But they were made to look it. because of the system that they were in and because the man management was there. If the man management isn't there sometimes, you don't get the best out of them players. It's why Ruben Amorim failed at Man United. It's why Enzo Maresca somewhat failed at Chelsea. That's not to say that they're bad managers. It's just to say that they weren't able to get the best out of their team. And that's not even necessarily on them either. Maybe it's just the club bought the wrong profile of player. I don't know. I'm hoping I'm making a point here, but I'm not 100% sure now I've said that out loud. I don't really know how to word it, but yeah, it's a very good comment that you've made there, Rodrigo. I get where you're coming from, even if I can't articulate it and word it in the way that I want to. But yeah, the bottom line is I really do hope that Alonso takes over at Liverpool. I really, really do. Because again, I do think this is a big opportunity that we need to take. And I would be devastated if we missed out on this big opportunity that's presented before us. And wherever Alonso decides to go, he goes on to be a success wherever he's at. I'd be absolutely devastated if that was the case. Big up, bro, who's in the building. Lovely to have you here, back with us. I hope you're doing well on this Tuesday morning. Big up to you. Hope you're doing good. What do you think of Carrick getting the new Man United job instead of Solskjaer? Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think I might do a video on this later today, seeing as though it's big news and it's just pretty much been confirmed by David Ornstein. I don't think it's been confirmed by the club yet, but it does seem like it is only a matter of time before the official announcement and statement is made. It's an interesting one because I was very sure that it would be Solskjaer. I was very, very confident and sure that it was going to be Solskjaer and we were going to have Solskjaer back in the Premier League. So it's an interesting one to see when they're gone. I think for me, I look at this and I go, okay, they're going down this route, which suggests to me that I don't know, because I think I remember reading a report that the reason they have not gone for Solskjaer is because if he got United in the Champions League places for next season, he wanted the job permanently. I think that was the report suggesting that, and United weren't exactly sure on him being permanent manager. They didn't want to make the same mistake twice, essentially, which is obviously what United made a few years ago with Solskjaer. But why they would move on to then Michael Carrick, I don't know. I mean, he looks a promising manager to an extent. I know that obviously people spoke very highly of him when he was at Middlesbrough. But I don't understand why you would go Michael Carrick if obviously the long-term plan is not to potentially have him as your permanent manager going forward. Why you'd only keep him on as a stopgap manager, I don't know. Are they maybe hoping that maybe Carrick can change around that opinion? Maybe they want Carrick as their permanent manager over Solskjaer as someone different. Who would they even go after the whole Carrick thing at the end of the season? Should obviously he just be an interim manager until the end of the season? I don't know. It just seems like United have gone into this head first and have not really thought about the long-term contingency plan. They're kind of making it up as they go along. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I'm really not 100% sure what I make of it. I don't know. I'm sort of 50-50 in it. I won't lie to you. I'm sort of 50-50 in this one. Like I see the potential, of course. United have been down this route before. I don't know. I really don't know. What do you make of it? What about anybody that's watching? What do you make of Michael Carrick taking over at Manchester United until at least the end of the season? Do you think this is a work in progress thing? Do you think that this is going to be... do you think this is going to be a permanent change? Or it will turn into a permanent change? Or... I don't know. It's so awkward to tell because I don't even think United know. I don't even think United know what they're doing. Thank you. Same to you. I was also thinking of Solskjaer. I read an article saying that the players wanted Carrick more, but yet may as well be rumours. Like I said, I don't know because I was so sure it would have been Solskjaer, and then, like I say, it seems as though Solskjaer wanted the job on a more permanent basis. Maybe you're right. Maybe the players had a bit of a say in this as well. I don't know. Although, again, may just be rumours, but apparently they're listening to Gary Neville more and more United. So maybe this is a Gary Neville thing. I don't know. I don't know. I really, really don't know. Yeah, that is fair. He may have also wanted a longer contract. Yeah. I mean, in his mind, I would say he's probably got unfinished business. But in saying that, is that unfinished business going to match up with today's with how today is in the Premier League? I don't know. I don't know if it will. I neither understand the Carrick thing. I think he may be maybe the only good one wanting to be there to the summer. Yeah, that could also be true. Maybe they interviewed a few people and a few people rejected them. I don't know. They must have someone lined up for the summer, and that someone is probably going to be Oliver Glasner. That's the only thing that I can see happening. I think United want Glasner, and of course, I don't think he's going to be moving until the end of the season. So, I think they're just hiring Carrick to the end of the season, then they get Glasner. But should Glasner, for whatever reason, turn United down, whether it's that he's got another job elsewhere that he would like to go to, or whatever the case may be, I think Carrick being there is what they would want more over Solskjaer. That's the way I'm reading it right now. I think they want Glasner, but they will have to wait till the end of the season to get Glasner. Otherwise, they're having to pay more money out to Crystal Palace. So they wait till the end of the season. They get Glasner when his contract expires. But just in case they can't get Glasner, that's when they turn around to Michael Carrick and go, do you want the job on a permanent basis? Because they would rather have Carrick than they would have Solskjaer. That's just the way that I'm looking at this right now. And maybe you or maybe United fans in the chat maybe can tell me differently. Maybe you heard differently, or maybe you read something differently that I may have missed. Like I say, I'm looking at this from the perspective of the outside looking in. So I don't know the full ins and outs of the story. I don't know if I've missed anything here, but that is the way that I'm reading it right now. Their manager that they want on a permanent basis is not going to be ready until the end of the season. And so that's where I'm looking at this and coming from. I'm looking at this as a United are going to have to wait, but there's no guarantee that they'll get the one they're waiting for. And they would rather have Carrick there than go back to Solskjaer. That's just the way that I'm seeing it. Good one, maybe the wrong wording from me. I get what you mean, bro. I get what you mean. Big up Luca Talks Dons is in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Go and subscribe to Luca's channel, people. He's doing some awesome stuff over there. He's an Arsenal and MK Dons fan doing some great content on both of those clubs. So if you want to broaden your footballing horizons or you just want to check out some of his content, I'm sure there's something for everybody over there. So go over there and show my brother some love and some support. I think the whole Man United thing is wicked. What is next now? Out of the FA Cup, another substitute manager, just a total mess. Well, they've basically written off the entire season now, haven't they? I mean, the only thing that United have left to play for is, of course, getting into European football of some description. So it's one game a week from now to the end of the season. There is no opportunity or chance of silverware. They have basically written off the season, and it's basically along the lines of get us European football. And I think at this rate, United would probably take Europa Conference League at the bare minimum. At the barest minimum. But it's season over as far as what United are concerned. It's been another train wreck. Not as much of a train wreck as last season, but it's been another train wreck. And obviously, train wrecks are never good, regardless of whether they are major or minor. So it's been another poor season. It's a season that has ended in the middle of January. It's poor. It's so poor. And it's another, and I believe like this whole Ineos, Glazer, Glinios, I think is what people are calling it, Glinios. This whole project, it's been pushed back again. It's been pushed back again because they constantly make poor decisions and they're making the wrong decisions. And like I say, I think they would have been better off sacking Amorim later on in the season. I think they should have waited till after the FA Cup. I really think they should have probably waited till after they were out the FA Cup. Because who knows? Maybe Amorim against Brighton might have actually won them that game. And it may not have been enough to save his job. We have seen managers get sacked after winning trophies before. But at least United's season could have at least gone on a few more weeks. You know what I mean? So I think United probably acted a little bit too hasty in making their decision. I understand why they would want him gone, but I could also see why they would want to keep him around until at least after the Brighton game. I think they probably should have kept him around till that Brighton game. If they did get knocked out, then you could maybe sack him afterwards. But if he got them through to the fourth round, at least it's an opportunity to have him stay on for a while, especially if all you're going to do is hire an interim. You had a caretaker in Darren Fletcher, a draw against Burnley, knocked out the FA Cup in his first two games. Amazing. And then, of course, you now hire an interim in Michael Carrick, who may have potential, but you're not looking to keep around. You're not looking to keep around permanently. You're looking at him as going, just steady the ship from now to the end of the season, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see if Glasner wants to come to United. I doubt you'll get Alonso. I hope you don't get Alonso for United. I hope that's not the case. But, who knows? Who knows? Maybe you offer him an offer he can't refuse. Maybe you give him promises that are too good to turn down. I don't know. But, yes, we will talk about that later on today at some point. So yes, Liverpool are through to the FA Cup fourth round. They will meet Brighton in that round. A tricky fixture for Liverpool to navigate through. Hopefully we can make it to the fifth round. Like I say, it's not the be-all and end-all, and it's not exactly like our first choice for a trophy, but it's probably our best opportunity at silverware that is left this season. We are out the race for the Premier League, of course, and, if we can't even beat Leeds United home or away, what chance have we got of winning the Champions League? So the FA Cup is our last gasp opportunity, in my opinion, to win any level of silverware for this campaign. So we need to take it seriously. We need to go into that game against Brighton, taking nothing for granted, taking no chances, and we need to put on a good display as well as a result to lay down a statement in this competition. Do I think we'll do that? Probably not. The performance, that is. We may still get the result because, we've actually got results this season despite not playing well. So it's possible that could happen again. But what was interesting that I want to kind of move on to next is certain comments made by David Ornstein this morning in regards to Liverpool's potential transfer focus. Not just in this transfer window that is currently open, that has been relatively quiet from a Liverpool perspective, especially. Even though I feel like we should be diving into the market, but again, I can understand why that's not the case either. But this is what David Ornstein had to say this morning, if I can bring it up here. He put out a report this morning saying that Liverpool's summer focus expected to be centre-back, no breakthrough on Konate contract, and Van Dijk and Gomez are expiring in 2027. Right-back recruitment not planned by Liverpool this window. That's obviously in reference to the recent injury to Conor Bradley, of course, and Salah staying, but situation is one to watch for the end of the season. So a lot to kind of digest there from David Ornstein this morning in terms of several aspects there, but it's so frustrating. And I said this yesterday in the video that I did on Mark Gahey, that Mark Gahey is literally sat there for 35 to 40 million. That is roughly what Mark Gahey is potentially worth in this January window. Why are we not going in for him? Why are we not going in for him? You're looking at centre-back options for the summer. There's also no guarantee that Gomez is going to be there, especially with his injuries. Even if he is there, he still may not be there, if you know what I mean. Van Dijk will be a year older. Van Dijk will be entering the final year of his current deal. If you're looking at centre-back options for the summer, you're going to have to pay 50, 60, 70 odd million for good, competent, in the now, but can also be for the future defenders. You look at Mark Gahey and you go, all right, in 6 months' time, we could get him on a free. But guess what? Arsenal will want him on a free. Man City will want him on a free. Bayern will probably want him on a free. Real Madrid love a free transfer. They would probably want him on a free. Do you really think that, given the current state of our squad, of our head coach, of where we could potentially end up at the end of the season, that we are going to have any chance of securing the signing of Marc Guéhi on a free at the end of the campaign, when we are facing stiff competition from potentially future Premier League winners, the champions of Germany, or the biggest club in world football, Real Madrid, or potentially Pep Guardiola's Manchester City? Do you really think that Marc Guéhi, even though he gave Liverpool all the opportunity to sign him last summer, actually agreed to a move to Liverpool last summer before Palace pulled the plug on deadline day? Do you really think that Marc Guéhi is not going to have his head turned by anybody else? Are we really that confident that Marc Guéhi is going to choose Liverpool over everybody that is currently on the table right now? Really? You know what? If we were in good contention to maybe win the Champions League, if we were still in a Premier League title race and were leading the race, I could maybe say, you know what? Leave it until the end of the summer. I'm quite confident that we could convince him to maybe jump ship on a free transfer. And it would be a massive free transfer. One of the biggest that Liverpool have made in recent times. One that would rival the likes of Joel Matip and James Milner. But I'm not convinced anymore. I'm really not convinced. I'm not convinced that we still hold all the cards in this. So whilst he's available for 35, 40 million, if we can negotiate the price down, great. But for 35, 40 million on a defender that has got bags of Premier League experience, 25 years of age, so he's available for the here and now as well as several years down the line, for someone who is competent with the ball at his feet, really good in the air, a danger from set pieces, and is a leader on that pitch, a skipper, a leader, a captain, someone that we're going to have to look for when Van Dijk eventually does move on. This is a no-brainer, in my opinion, because if you miss out on him for 35, 40 million, I am going to be so annoyed when we go and find someone who maybe is not as good or has as much potential or promise as Marc Guéhi in the summer of 2026, and we end up paying 25, 50% or even 100% more on that player than what we could have done if we'd have just gone, let's bite the bullet and go for Marc Guéhi. Let's go 35, 40 million on Marc Guéhi. For the type of player that he is, for what he possesses, this is a no-brainer in my opinion. Marc Guéhi needs to be a Liverpool player by the end of this transfer window. Otherwise, I don't think he will be a Liverpool player at all. Simple as that. I'm good, bro. I hope you are too. Lovely to have you here with us. Obviously, good result for your boys at the weekend. Arsenal, that is. I was hoping that there would be an upset with Portsmouth, but you handled the occasion really, really well. Martinelli turned up this weekend, which was somewhat surprising. But yeah, big up to you, my bro. Hope you're doing well. Any more Guéhi news? Like I say, it seems like there are still plenty of options on the table, but nothing formal as of this moment. Arsenal are seemingly creeping more and more into the picture. Man City, with their recent injuries, are obviously holding a strong interest. There's reported interest from the likes of Bayern Munich. Liverpool are still on the table, but again, nothing so far, and it's quite interesting when you look at it because, like I say, I'm confused by it. Unless there's something that I'm missing, I'm confused as to why teams would chance their luck on a free transfer rather than get someone at a slashed price. Because you just know that the teams that eventually miss out on him will go and buy a centre-back eventually, but they'll be paying more than what they would have done for Mark Gahey. And that's really going to frustrate me. That is really, really going to frustrate me. When Mark Gahey is just sitting there for a bargain price of 35, 40 odd million. I think the ship has sailed in terms of signing Gahey. I think it will if we don't make the move for him in January. If we don't make the move for him in January, then I think it will. But we have to be serious and we have to not mess around this time. We have to just go in for the kill. But if we don't, and we chance our luck in the summer when his contract expires, that's when I think we'll have a problem. That's when I think we'll have a problem. But you can win the Champions League. You beat Inter away, and that proves it. And yes, we beat Inter in one of the least convincing performances. And not only that, but we won by a penalty, which I think was a penalty, but I see it as extremely soft. I see it as extremely soft penalty to have given. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. Defensively, I thought we were solid enough, and it was quite strange that we were actually solid enough, especially going into that game with everything kicking off in the background with like Mo Salah and stuff. But if we played that way against Barca, if we played that way against Bayern, if we played that way even against like PSG again, like we get torn apart. We would get absolutely torn apart. Look, never ever rule out Liverpool on a European front. Never rule out Liverpool on a European front. I get that. I just don't see it happening for us. I just really, really don't see it happening for us this year. I would love to sit here and say that we make it 7 Champions Leagues. But I can't. I genuinely can't say that because I look at PSG, I look at Bayern, I look at Barca, and I think we would struggle. We would struggle against all of those teams. We couldn't even beat Galatasaray this year. Couldn't even beat Galatasaray. We got absolutely destroyed by PSV. And I meant to sit here and go, yeah, we'll be fine against Barca. We'll be fine against Bayern. We'll be fine against all these teams. No. No. I can't sit here confidently and say it. What do you think of City 68 Max? I can't even pronounce it. I hope I'm not butchering the name when I say Align. Max Align. Alaini. I do apologize if I'm butchering that name. He played the last 2 matches for us. I have not made up my mind on him yet, but exciting to see another academy player promoted. I didn't really watch City's game at the weekend. I didn't see the point because I knew you'd destroy Exeter. I didn't think you'd destroy them by double digits. But yes, you destroyed them by double digits. I've not really seen him, so I can't really say. Obviously, still young, still sporadically used. So I guess you could say that he's obviously done enough to be put into the mix by Pep Guardiola. But whether or not he will actually remain there, it remains to be seen. But I think it is good now that you're starting to see the fruits of the Manchester City Academy start to shine through a bit more. Past few years, obviously, starting with like Phil Foden, you've had the likes of Oscar Bob come through, and then maybe one or two others as well. But if this is the latest, McAtee also came through, and Nico O'Reilly. So, you've had a couple that have began to come through the academy. So it's good that you're starting to use that academy a bit more rather than just go, here's more money to throw at it. But whether or not he's got a future obviously remains to be seen. It's going to be interesting, especially when you consider that obviously Guardiola is coming towards the end of his City tenure. It does seem like he will be leaving, whether it be at the end of this season or at the end of next season. It does seem like we are nearer the end of Guardiola's reign at City than we are at the beginning. So, it's going to be interesting to see how he leaves the club rather than what is going on for the here and now. So, if he can get the academy up to scratch, and obviously if he gives some of these youngsters the opportunity to thrive and survive, then obviously it's going to look good. It's going to look good for him when he leaves in terms of his legacy, and it's going to be good for the next manager to come in and be like, right, I've got a great squad, and I've also got some promising youngsters coming through. So it's absolutely brilliant that you're using the academy more, and it's brilliant that obviously the future looks bright at Manchester City from that particular level. The pen you got against Inter was soft, but you must take those two. Enough things goes against it in a season. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why they say luck balances out. That's why they say, luck balances out on these kinds of things. And, to a certain degree, I understand that, and I actually agree with that. Do I think it balances out in terms of the quality of luck? Not necessarily. So, for example, you could get a penalty in a game, in a huge game, that you don't deserve. Let's say, for example, that you get a game of okay, let's do it the other way around. Let's say that a penalty goes against you. That's never a penalty in a million years. The opposition score that penalty and they knock you out of a cup final. Let's say that the next week you play a game in the Premier League. It is a dead rubber game. It's the final game of the season. You're not playing for anything. The opposition team is not playing for anything. It's a pointless game. It's just there to see out the rest of the season. And you get a penalty in that game when you don't deserve it. People will go, well, that's just luck balancing itself out. It's not. Because you go from conceding a penalty that you shouldn't have conceded in a massive game to receiving a penalty that you shouldn't have received in a dead game that is pointless. The luck balances itself out in terms of quantity. It does not balance itself out usually in terms of quality. That's just the way that I personally see it. But yeah, like you say, sometimes you just have to go along with it for the ride. Sometimes you just have to take those. And of course, the opportunity presented itself for Liverpool, and it was well taken. It was a well taken penalty from Szoboszlai. He scored. Liverpool move on. It was a defensive. It was a very good display defensively on the day, and we get a soft penalty that we convert. Simple as that. Like I say, but those ones are given in Europe. That's the annoying thing. Those ones are given in Europe. If that was the Premier League, those ones aren't given. Those ones aren't given. But it's just the way that it is. But yeah, like I say, take the opportunity when it presents itself. That's I don't blame anybody for doing that. So yes, in terms of Liverpool's transfer business, it looks like it's going to be a quiet window. It looks like it's potentially going to be a quiet window as far as what Liverpool are concerned. Hopefully the Mark Gahey stuff kicks into action, and hopefully Liverpool are there. But at the same time, in saying that, it's I don't know, man. It don't look amazing. It don't look good. I think we're going to probably be a bit disappointed come the end of the window. I think we're going to be seeing this as, again, another missed opportunity for Liverpool. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. I hope that we're sat here at the end of the transfer window going, we did really well. Mark Gahey, quality signing. We needed that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is he the only defender though? You talking about, is Gahey the only defender like available? Is that what you're asking? I would probably say for right now, yes. Unless someone does become available. Otherwise, you're having to spend massive amounts of money. It's also interesting as well. I was expecting there to be a lot more movement. With it being a World Cup year, I was expecting there to be a lot more movement in this January window than what there's proving to be. But yeah, there's still plenty of time. We're just under halfway into the window, so we shall see. I mean that you would want at Liverpool right now. No, I mean obviously we need. I think we need two centre backs, but I would go for one now and one in the summer. Like I say, I still rate Mickey van der Ven at Tottenham. I would take Van der Ven at Tottenham. I rate him highly. I think he would be really, really good for what we do. I say Gahey is obviously perfect for what we're after. But yeah, I do rate Van der Ven. There may be one or two others out there as well. But I don't think, like I say, I think mainly the summer is going to be where we do that, the majority of that business. Like I said, the only reason why I say Gahey for right now is the opportunity is there. The opportunity is there, whereas the opportunity might not be either there or as big in the summer than it is right now. So we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, I haven't got that much confidence in the whole Gahey to Liverpool stuff. I want to say he will. Of course I do. I want to say that Gahey will be a Liverpool player at the end of this transfer window. But I don't think he will. I don't think he will. unfortunately. So we move on. And it's interesting as well because obviously Ornstein goes on to say that the Salah situation is going to be one to look out for. I mean, I'm hoping that obviously things smooth over when he does come back. Hopefully he comes back with a bit of extra luggage in terms of that African Cup of Nations trophy. But when he does return, I'm hoping things will continue to smooth over and he can obviously have the perfect send-off, which will be to see out the rest of his contract and then go. Have the most perfect send-off you can give to a Liverpool legend. And then we move from there. It does mean that our backup right back as well for this January, if we're not looking at right backs, is going to be Calvin Ramsey. Frimpong hasn't exactly filled me with too much confidence regarding his own fitness and injury record so far this season. Hopefully, though, those things are behind him and he can kick on from what he's doing right now because, let's face it, past few games, he's been brilliant. But if he was to go down injured, Calvin Ramsey's our backup. Because for whatever reason, Slot does not want to play Gomez. But Gomez is our backup defender as well as our backup right back. So we are taking a bit of a risk there. But it's the way that we obviously left ourselves. It's the way that we left ourselves short in that area, in the defensive areas, because we messed around too much in the summer. But you make your own bed, and we have to now lie in it. It's so depressing we won last night. Imagine if we lost. It's a weird one to call because it's one of those games that you look at and go, all right, it's a cup game, so you just have to win. Like it doesn't necessarily matter how you play, you just have to win. And Liverpool did that, and on the scoreline alone, it's a good win. It's a very good win, 4-1, nothing to be sniffed at. But with the way that our season's gone, it's still underwhelming. It's still underwhelming. And you can make the strong argument that Barnsley played really well in that game, but didn't deserve to be on the wrong end of a 4-1 absolute hammering. That's why football is such a weird game sometimes, but that's just the reality of the situation. Barnsley played really well, ends up on the losing end of a 4-1 scoreline. And it wasn't necessarily down to Liverpool playing exceptionally well. It was just Liverpool were just clinical on the night. Liverpool were clinical on the night. Liverpool scored 4 very well taken goals. And that was just a difference in quality of the two teams. There you have it. Look, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Obviously, Liverpool have got Burnley coming up at the weekend. Should be a win, but I'm taking nothing for granted this season, given how Liverpool have played this season so far. So I'm taking nothing for granted. It should be a win, but at the same time, would I be surprised if Burnley got something from the game? Absolutely not. Fingers crossed for a better performance. Fingers crossed for a win. And we'll kick on from there. But, yeah, we shall see. We shall see on that one. As always with these videos, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching and listening, taking times out of your busy schedules to join me on this Tuesday morning. Lovely to talk football with you as always. Make sure you're leaving comments in the comment section down below. That will be now there if you obviously are watching on repeat, on playback. So whether it's about anything that we talked about in the video or whether it's anything that you want to talk about for future live streams or videos to come, obviously all comments will be welcome received, and obviously I can't wait to read them all. I'm sure they'll all make for great and interesting reading. Big up to each and every single one of you, like I say, for the love and support. It really does mean the world to me, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. Big up, Dean. Thank you for joining me, my bro. Lovely to talk football with you as always, as well as the rest of you in the chat. Really do appreciate you all. Until next time, I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.